It's like getting over stage fright to room. If anybody's got it figured out, you know they better tell me real soon. We're all flying by the seat of our pants. We're waiting on epiphany by the seat of our pants. We're waiting on epiphany and a little romance. Dozen empty bottles and a book laying under your bed. Every time you try to pick it up, you tell yourself a story instead. Thinking about where you're gonna go when the light shines on you. You're waiting for the moment when you know exactly what you should do. We're all flying by the seat of our pants. We're waiting on epiphany and a little romance. Watching as the sun sets one more time and it's gone. Taking the time to stay right there to the dawn. There's a voice inside that tells you you gotta be strong. Pick up the parts, clean up, go on along. And we're all flying by the seat of our pants. We're waiting on epiphany and a little romance. We're all flying by the seat of our pants. We're hoping for a miracle and just a little romance.
Good evening, one and all. It's 7 o'clock, and you know what that means. We have a live performance. And in the studio, I have my dear friend Memphis Hawk returning to serenade us with some songs, and we're going to chat about what's been going on. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Scott. Thank you for having me back.
Pleasure as always. So you got a few songs to play for us, and since you were here last, you got new ones to play for us.
I've got a few probably to play, yeah?
Yeah.
A few new ones.
That always works. All right, what would you like to start out with then?
All right, well, I'll start off with an old one. This is the first song off of my first album. So we'll try that one first, huh? Riding through the night, thinking the whole time that looking back, I don't know where I've been. You're always on my mind, though I lose mine from time to time. The irony is the one you love the most is the one that has to see all your ghosts. We start to rise up, 'cause God knows I to your side. There's always consequence, and always the chance for regret. Love's a broken offering we bring. It's vanity to try and to perfect our whole lives. Every man gets ruined now and then. To remind heaven he is just a man. We dust the rise up, 'cause God knows I've tried. Every step I take, and every road I find, bring me back to your side. Sometimes space can be a mortal enemy. Sometimes walls can teach us what freedom is. We dust rise up, 'cause God knows I tried. Oh, with every step I take, bring me back to your side. Bring me back to your side.
All right, so an oldie but a goodie, huh?
Oldie, yeah, it was called Horizon.
All right, that's from the first release. When did that come out?
So it came out in 2019, so it's been about 6 years almost now.
Wow, time flies. But still, you get a decent output considering.
You know, I did one in 19. I did one in 20. Everyone should also record an album right before a pandemic and then put it out right during the pandemic so that you never get to play it. And then I did one, and then I did one in 21. And then it took a long time for the next one. It wasn't until the end of, for me anyway, it was until the end of 2023. I don't know. It just took a while. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't worked through it exactly why it took as long as it did. But it was really kind of a struggle for me, so I took a break after that.
Yeah, we were talking kind of about that, before the show. Sometimes you just have to take that break. You can't just sit and put out songs just because you feel you have to. You got to wait until you have some kind of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even local artists I see take a lot longer than that. Believe me.
Yeah, it's hard for me it's hard for me to go too long. I mean, the music just happens. I can sit down with a guitar and I can strum out something, and within an hour I can have a melody and I can have songs. I can go into my basement and spend 2 more hours. I can record the whole thing, but then I'm pretty glacial when it comes to the words. I think a lot about them and I worry about them, and then I turn around and it's been 6 months since I've written a letter on a page, let alone an entire song.
Sometimes you have to do that, to put it down for a while, and then you come back and something comes through your head or whatever. But yeah, I dealt with a lot of musicians I interviewed that did the same exact thing. They had something either ready to go or it just came out right when that pandemic hit. It's like, oh great, I can't even play these songs for anybody except maybe the person living with me.
Whether they liked it or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have to deal with that, listening to it over and over again. But all right, so how many does that make now? You got the new one is what, the third or fourth?
So I've got 4 now, and I just started last summer. I started tinkering last year with the 5th album. So I've got about 5 songs written and recorded. I've got another 6 where they're recorded with no words yet. Surprise, surprise.
That's okay. Start out with a melody. All right, we'll talk a little more about that in a bit, but why don't we do another one? What do you have for us?
Sounds good. This is another one. This is probably the oldest. It's off the first record. It's called Into the Sun, but the words have actually been around for about 20 years. I recorded a version much heavier than the one that appears. It's just an acoustic on the album. I redid it to be an acoustic from a full band because I wanted something I wanted to be able to play it out, and I couldn't play it the way I wrote it. And so I redid a little bit, and it came out with this, a little more of a bluesier version of it, but I enjoy playing it still.
All righty, Into the Sun.
Driving under the setting sun, you're thinking that I was the prodigal one. Staying ahead, those demons and fall behind. Memories are like the desert sands, the blown across this open land. Now Jesus, please tell me, where did it all go wrong? I'll just drive into the sun. Just drive into the sun. The daylight turns to evening shade. I'm listening to Etta James. Like she said, but I used to feel that way. The road ahead calls my name, but still I pick at the turning lane. Yesterday's gone, but the past still remains. So I drive into the sun. I'll just 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 drive. I'll just drive.
All right. So you said that goes back up 20 years at least. Huh?
The words do, yeah. The words are pretty much the same exact words, but the arrangement was completely different. Mm-hmm. I wrote it around a guitar riff and then built it around there, and it's just easier to not do that on an acoustic guitar. So I rewrote the songs. I did like it, and the melody got changed, but the words stayed the same.
Yeah, where'd the words come from?
The idea of sometimes it's healthier not to dwell in the past, but to move forward. Mm-hmm. And, things were a certain way, and
but then you feel like you guys start getting chased down by things, and you try to stay moving a little bit because, and then you turn around and you realize it's yourself. It's what you thought something should have been or the way it should have been. And so, yeah, that's where it came out. And, it's funny. I don't feel the same way about the way I wrote it. It's different for me now than it was 20 years ago, and I think that's probably true for any songwriters. They write a song, and 30 years later, 20 years later, it's like the words are the same, but now it means a completely different thing. And I think that's great. I think it's the magic, I think, of music that, kind of like a memory is not really exactly what happened. It's how you feel about the way you think it happened. And I think the music is kind of the same way with words like that.
Yeah, and for humans, I mean, that memory can change over years. I mean, that same exact memory, maybe when it first happens afterwards, you feel bad about it. Sometimes you eventually come to terms. Maybe you feel good about it today where you didn't back then, or vice versa, depending on how your life progresses or whatever. But that's off the first album. What is the name of it?
In the Shadow of Prophets and Fools is the name of the album, but the song's called Into the Sun.
Okay. All right. So if anybody wanted to check out this music, available on the usual outlets, places?
Yes, all the usual suspects. So you can get it on whoever still listens to iTunes. You can get it on iTunes or Spotify, so I can get my 0.0014 cents. I'd appreciate that. Bandcamp for free or donate a few dollars, and Apple Music. And if you Google Memphis Hawk music, you can find a bunch of it everywhere.
Yeah,
you can ask me about it, and I'll give you a CD if you still listen to CDs too.
Yeah, if you have some way of playing it, that's the hard thing nowadays.
Got to find a used car at least 10 years old to find one in your car these days.
Yeah, the same goes with the computer or laptop. They don't have them anymore either. It's amazing.
You got to just hire the performer to come to your house and sing while you're sitting down or something like that. You have to actually have live music in your home to listen to this sometimes.
Well, there you go. If you want Memphis Hawk to play in your own living room, call 1-88, blah, blah, blah. All right, why don't we do another one?
All right. So this is off the this is a song called Oil and Wine. It's kind of my struggle between the two halves of. So I'm interested in this idea of grace and what it means to be given something, and how the struggle I know I have between justice in myself, the thing that you deserve, the things that you get, and you get what you deserve, and the kind of they butt heads sometime, and the song's kind of about an argument between the two, and it's called Oil and Wine. Chained by fate, bound by dove and dust, we're waiting for the kingdom come. There's a cost to every loaded gun. Freedom is both the source, the enemy of love. We can rise together, we can fall apart. Why? I wanna let you off tonight, but you wanna suffer for your crimes. See past this divide, but you and I were like oil and wine. Say black and blue are the true colors of love. You got to beat it up to make sure you've got enough. The souls are lost, wars are never won. A kingdom that's built on wrath, sure to come undone. And we can rise together,
That was a sacrifice that refused to die. You said we'd have to pay the price. But let you off tonight. But you wanna suffer for your crimes. Why? I don't see past this divide. But you and I, we're like oil and wine. Why? I'm gonna let you off tonight. You wanna suffer for your crimes. Why? I wanna see past this divide. But you and I, we're like oil and wine. You and I, we're like oil and wine. You and I, we're like oil and
like that angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other?
Yeah, well, you know, I kind of look at it more along the lines of grace on one shoulder and legalism on the other. The set of rules that you have to abide by versus the idea of let it go. And I'm not I don't know if I'm not completely on the side of, throw everything out the window. I'm certainly a person who wants to live by a certain code, but at the same time, I don't want to be imprisoned by one either.
You mean there's rules and codes out there nowadays?
Yeah.
It's hard to figure, hard to notice, but okay. All right. So I guess I shouldn't ask you about your busy live schedule coming up, or?
No, I don't have anything right now on the docket. I didn't play at all in 2024. It was the first time I hadn't gotten out and played in a while. I do go through phases. Like I go through phases where I'll play a lot for 5 years and write a lot and do a lot, and then I'll take some time off. I definitely am the kind of person that needs life to feed into the art, and then art feeds into the life. Mm-hmm. And so I took about a year off. I finished a degree in personal things, and
you mean you had a life? Oh,
I did. I really am. You got to have something to talk about, right? Maybe that's the words would come faster if I had a more abundant one. Maybe you need to work on that.
Gonna have to work on that. Huh? All right, what do you have for us now?
All right, so this is one off of an album I did a couple of years ago called Fear Factory. I think I was promoting this, and I played on your old show, and then the world shut down very soon thereafter. So I don't know. It's not my fault, though. It's not my fault.
Sure.
It's not my fault. All right. This is called Silhouette of Reason.
could hear the songs, and every clock sounded like a ticking time bomb. I heard David sing the blues, it sure did too. But could they save the world as we do? But I know, yeah, I know that in the end, when the stars fall from the sky, when the scales fall from our eyes, yeah, we will see the world as it shines. No need to wait to live until we die. Mind is the greatest fear factory that you'll ever find. We don't need a guide to show us the way to find the light. In the end, when the stars fall from the sky, when the scales fall from our eyes, yeah, we will see the world as it shines. No need to wait to live until we die.
All right. So you said that was from the release a couple of years ago?
Yeah, so that was from the album Fear Factory. It's the one that came out in 2020. Yeah.
That's more than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
It's, I don't know about you, but time has really gone weird ever since the pandemic. There's been times it felt like it just dragged. It was in slow motion or not moving at all. Then other times it's like, whoa, what happened, you know?
Yeah, well, we were talking about that earlier. Just, I think the older I've gotten, you know, it just feels like time is kind of tumbling down a hill, and you're trying to put the brakes on it. You're trying to stop your kids from growing up. You're trying to stop the world from turning. You know, just for a minute so you can breathe. But no matter how much you try to stop it, it just keeps falling down.
Yeah, it's like when people ask my age, I say, you know, don't even want to tell them. But no, but seriously though, during the pandemic, it almost felt like time was frozen there for a while.
Yeah, you know, I remember, and I think a lot of people probably do. Well, you have a love-hate relationship with the world shutting down. Now, you know, I didn't go without a paycheck though, so I have a certain privilege and luxury of not worrying too much about it, because my job actually was from my house. But there are a lot of people that you may have lost their livelihoods, and so, you know, I look back on it thinking it was really nice to go for long walks and not, you know, it seems like everything slowed down, but there's a lot of people that suffered too. So, you know, I kind of see, like I said, there's that bittersweetness to it, to a pandemic. Just, I think it's strange in and of itself to say.
Well, for me, it was, you know, I've always been a social person, so it really hit me hard because I couldn't be around people. You know, a lot of times the musicians that I talked to, well, it was great. They could dive into their music, they could write songs, they could record. I mean, there was a lot of bands where they recorded their parts separately, and they still managed to put a record together. But for me, it's like, okay, what do I do here?
Right. Yeah, you know, I think we ended up taking. I remember the first times I played out with other musicians. We were outside. You know, it was setups outside, and that was nice. You know, so we could be, you know, safe distances, but still play our music and play for each other. If nobody else, we were each other's audiences.
Yeah, well, it's like what we did in Hamtramck the last 2 years. You know, the Hamtramck Music Fest. Almost all of it was outdoors.
Yeah.
So we could do that 10 feet thing, All right. Let's do another one.
All right. So this is off the album that came out a couple years ago. It's called "Will I Remember You." I will always wonder why a flesh destined to die was giving so much to love. If I am the first to say goodbye and see the face of the divine, will I forget where I come from? Will I remember you? Will I remember you? Will I remember you? If I wake up in paradise and do not know of my past life, then what was the point of a soul? If my voice no longer cries, then my mind ceases with time, for my heart can't be so cold. Will I remember you? Will I remember you? I would like to think this world is something more than an exercise in truth. I remember you. When the day is done and the night has come, and I close my eyes, what will I find? I will remember you. I will remember you, because I would like to think the world is something more than an exercise in truth. I remember you. Oh, remember.
Alrighty. So for people that are new to Memphis Hawk, obviously you didn't start playing or singing songs in 2019, and you were in a band, forgive me, Aberrant Way?
Aberrant Way, yeah.
Yeah. When you guys came on the show, that was back when we were at the college, and that had to be, what, 8, 9 years ago?
That was the day after Leonard Cohen died, I think.
Oh,
Or
another thing
or a
that
couple
was your
days
fault.
that was my fault too. Yes, no, it was the week that Donald Trump got elected the first time, and Leonard Cohen died. I'm sure his heart just couldn't take it. Is probably what it is. Of all the things that broke Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if it was Trump or Everett Wade. One of them
Well,
got it.
yeah. Yeah, it was November of 2016.
Wow. That was a little over 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Time flies. It does fly.
It does. Keeps
So-
flying.
And I know you keep in touch with those guys, at
Oh,
least
yeah.
Doug anyway, right?
Doug is one of my main people. I send stuff to and says, does this sound stupid or not?
Or does it suck? You know?
Yeah. The answer is probably usually yes. Actually, Doug is the most wonderful audience because he always finds the best parts of it and talks. So, no, I send stuff to him all the time, and occasionally he'll throw something my way
Does
with the same question.
Reciprocates. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that was where you played before. When did you actually start playing guitar? You know, when you wanted to be a singer and all that stuff.
Well, I used to be a janitor at my church, and this band would practice on Wednesday nights, and I worked on Wednesday nights. So long story short, I just kind of butted my way in any way I could, and eventually I was singing in the group, and then at some certain point I got cut from the band. Basically, they said I couldn't sing, and so so they cast me off, or they did the whole "we're breaking up and reforming without you" thing. Whatever, I can't remember exactly, but so that happened. But the bass player was my friend Dan. And we kind of had a musical bond, so we said, "I'm quitting too, and I'm going to go off with this guy." So we fooled around for years. But that was 19 years old, so that was back in 1998, late 90s. And so I couldn't play guitar or anything at the time, but we had a bass player, no drummer, and no guitar player, so I had to figure out something. So I started playing guitar, learning how to play guitar, so I could write my own songs. I had lucky enough to have a good friend who I would go to her house to pick her up, and she'd be late being ready to go. But her dad was a musician, and he sat at the end of the couch, and every time I came over, he taught me a new chord. And so he himself was a musician who had recorded albums in Nashville himself, and so he was a very talented guitar player himself. And so I picked up a few chords as I went and went from there.
Ah, so in some ways you were a late bloomer then. You know?
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, not picking up a guitar till I was 19, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, most people.
still blooming. Hopefully, I mean, I'm still.
One can hope. I'm wilting by now myself, but anyway, that's another story. All right, let's do another one.
All right, so this is I've never played this in front of anyone. This is the one brand new one I'm working on.
A world premiere.
It is a world
on
premiere.
11 Mile
I'm gonna work my way through this song. It's called "Every Day," and so.
We got to set up the teleprompter.
So
now.
here it goes. Right. Set up my teleprompter. Where's my cue card guy? Did you lay him off? Not afraid of getting older. I'm not afraid of getting old. There's no shame in one's mortality. It's a noble thing to have a life to look back on. I wanna look back with you.
of time. Since I first saw you, since I first touched the hand of thee, I've loved you every
World premiere.
There you
11
have it.
Mile
Mm.
Sessions live. How'd you think you did?
It was all right. It was all right. If that's hopefully that's the worst I ever play it. That's the way I look at it. Every time is the worst I'll ever play it, so it only gets better from there.
There you go. That's the right attitude. All right. Well, we're already getting in the home stretch here.
I know.
Time flies.
All right.
All right. What do you have for us now?
All right. So this is a song called Crawl. It's also off of Fear Factory. Fear Factory is an album about anxieties, I guess. It's worried about where you're going, where you've been, what you're doing. A lot of it is self-inflicted, you know? And so this song is a song about thinking that, you know, you're doing enough maybe in a relationship because you're doing all the things, but your heart's not in the right place, you know? And so, you know, it's kind of that, coming to a realization of that and thinking, I'm not good enough for being in this position I'm in. And so that's where the song came from. So it's called Crawl. Wisdom is wasted on ancient tongues who speak to the deaf and the dumb and to the proud and the young. I wish I'd known you when I was a better man, when didn't equate love with dying on a rock. With a crawl, with a crawl, with a fall, with a fall upon assault, you still need more. I never doubted your soothing voice, but I don't believe my ears. They're always insincere. And so I bet you a kingdom, yeah, I bet you a throne, so I can feel like a man worthy of your hands. With a crawl, with a crawl, and if I fall, and if I fall upon a it still need more. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. I'm an empty drum. I'm a darkest sun. I was searching for redemption. With a cross, and with a cross, and with a fall, and with a fall upon our souls, it still need more. It still need more.
Alrighty, Crawl. Give you a second to change around there. I want to squeeze some more in. So
All right.
If it's all right with you.
Sure.
Just keep it going there.
I will. All right. Let's do this one here. Books are full of gods and kings, built cathedrals of concrete. They chased away our native songs, and still their ghosts are on the road. And still I wait to say your words. Still my voice remains unheard. I saw a city on a hill. The lights gone dark, it's gone still. Maybe it was too much to ask. After all, it's only rocks and sand. Still I to raise a howl from a whisper, and to raise a howl from a whisper.
All right. It might be obvious, but what was the name of that track?
From a howl to a whisper. Yeah.
I never assumed, because sometimes
Yeah.
you'd be surprised.
You know, sometimes I bury the titles in their song. You know, every song tells you what it's called. If you listen long enough and figure it out, it'll tell you what it's called. You know, it's kind of funny. We have this whole idea of naming songs so you can identify them to each other, but they're just words that you picked out of a song that identify it. But really, you know, hopefully you do a good job naming it, I guess. Though I heard, you ever hear a band called the Mountain Goats?
They sound vaguely
they're
familiar.
Cool, they're cool.
Yeah.
So the singer and primary songwriter of the group, a guy named John Danielle, he said sometimes you come across a title so good you got to write the song. So
This is true.
or a book or whatever. You know, if you came up with a title, sometimes it demands to be written, and so
Yeah.
doesn't usually work like that for me, but it's a cool thought.
Yeah, I guess that would be more common with like singer-songwriters, but I've brought this
Yeah.
up before in other shows. I remember I was into a lot of really good like math rock and hardcore bands in the 90s, and they would have these songs, and they would come up with these one-word titles for the songs. Had nothing to do with the song. I mean, it wasn't even mentioned. It was just, they would just give it a title, like, Trash, or I'm just doing it for instance, but yeah, it had nothing to do with it.
I swear Muse does that too. They'll title a song, and it's because that they thought of something while writing the song and it stuck with them, and they wrote it down. There's no word, there's no lyric, there's nothing about that, but it made its way to the album, and because that's the way they always talked about it.
It's more about the mood or the
Yeah, the
theme.
vibe.
What were you thinking when you were writing that song? Anyway, we want to squeeze a couple more
All right.
in.
So what about two more here, I guess?
Yeah,
All
what do we
right.
got?
We
for
can
this-
do that. All right. This one's called Unconquered Soul.
It's in your heart, it's in your soul. Don't worry, hold on. You are the one who never gave up on love. Long after the rest of us would have said enough. It's in your heart, it's in your unconquered soul. It's in your heart. You've been too long ago. You're from the start. You're from the father you were born. It's in your heart. A cold wind try to break your will, but our apathy was cold as steel. Freedom's just a dream that fades away at first light, when those with eyes choose to be blind. You see your heart, it's in your unconquered soul. You see your heart. You've been too long ago. You're from the start. You're from the father you were born. You see your heart. But in the heat is more than one man can bear. So let one man's dream be a nation's prayer. You see your heart, it's in your unconquered
So, well, as always, it's been a pleasure.
So sad to say goodbye, Scott.
Yeah, well, until next time, you'll be back.
There's always a next time.
Even if I have to kidnap you. Or call your parole officer and blackmail you to come
Well,
out.
I appreciate that letter that you sent my parole officer today. It was really very kind of you to
Yeah.
get me out of there.
Said he needs to get out at least once or twice.
What was that? You sent a really nice letter to the warden a couple of years ago, and that was very helpful. Thank you, Scott.
All right.
The servitude part was weird, though. I don't know how you swung that, but
Well, that's for another show.
there'll be another show.
All right. So, what would you like to do as your final song?
This is a song. This is the closest thing I think I have to a hippie song. It's called "Love Will Carry Us." It's, in spite of everything, I think there's a lot of hope still out there. So, the song is called "Love Will Carry Us." It was on a song. It was on an album a couple years ago, along with that last one, "Unconquered Soul." That the album was called "The Space Between Two Thoughts." And so, this is called "Love Will Carry Us."
Once again, and Memphis Hawk.
Your sad eyes fill up the sky like rain clouds above me. Do you want the truth or a lie? Whatever makes you happy. We've got love on both our hands. We don't know how to wash them. Baby, I forgot where the path is. Well, maybe we both have, and love will carry us. Your love will carry us. Your love will carry us. Your love will carry us. Bodies are broken, our hearts are bruised. But maybe tomorrow will be better. You're not the only one to lose. We're in this together. We are more than what divides, more than what our eyes see. Maybe you forgot how much we're alike. Well, maybe we both have. Love will carry us. Your love will carry us. Your love will carry us. Your love will carry us. We were given a solemn rose. We gave back a crown of thorns. We despise what we don't have. We built a temple on a hill. Now we're out of the stained glass stills. When we can no longer walk or barely crawl. Love will carry us. Love will carry us. Love will carry us. Love will carry us. When we can no longer walk and we can barely crawl, love will carry us. Your 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 love will carry